Now, joining me now is the sports psychologist and professor emeritus at sociology at UC Berkeley, Dr. Ari Edwards. Dr. Edwards has been working in sports activism for more than 50 years, and he has worked alongside athletes organizing and some advising of the most widely recognized sports protests in history. Dr. Edwards, thank you so much. Is this historic moment indicative of, I guess, a real shift towards equity in the NFL for players of color? Or have we just sort of stumbled upon a coincidence that there are two black quarterbacks in the Super Bowl?
Well, eventually you're going to have two black quarterbacks in the Super Bowl because of the dynamics which generated the rise of the black quarterback. This situation presages and portends absolutely nothing in terms of a sea change as far as this situation is concerned. The fact that we're talking about two black quarterbacks points up the racialization of the position. I've never heard mention being made of two white quarterbacks starting an NFL Super Bowl. So we have to look at that. We have to understand that we have black quarterbacks, not because there's been a sea change in disposition and attitude or racialization of the position, but because of a change in the game, which put an emphasis upon passing as opposed to running. And that generated a counter response on the defensive side, which gave us the sack artist, the pass rusher, and increasingly the most important, the most enhanced position on the field, the highest paid position on the field, was under attack. And despite all of the protections that they try to build in for the pocket passer, the reality was that you not only had to have mobility, pocket mobility, you had to have escapability. And what that meant was that the tradition of the best athlete being the quarterback in black culture, that became very, very important. So all of a sudden we had all of these black quarterbacks being brought to the fore that we see today. What gave us the black quarterback wasn't a sea change in attitude toward race in that position. What gave us the black quarterback was Lawrence Taylor, Reggie White, Charles Haley, Kevin Green, and today, of course, Nick Bosa, Micah Parsons, and so forth. That is what gave us the black quarterback. If the game changes, we could lose that in the same sense that in 2006 there were two black head coaches in the Super Bowl, Tony Dungy and Lovie Smith, 6 black coaches in the league. Last year, leading into this Super Bowl, there were 3 black coaches. One of them got fired after 1 year, and that just happened to be Lovie Smith. So this portends nothing. I hope that everybody will enjoy the game. I hope that the referees will make great decisions in terms of when he's a quarterback in the pocket and when he's a running back outside. I hope that they'll make great decisions, and I hope that everybody gets out healthy.
I hear you. True equity comes when we aren't actually having this conversation because it's just so normal.
Absolutely.
And I also, I'm interested in your theory here that the rise of the black quarterback is sort of a market-based demand, right? You need someone with mobility because pass rushing has become so prioritized. Are there steps, though, that the NFL as an institution, as a governing body, could take, maybe not for black quarterbacks, but for black coaches? We obviously know that the NFL has struggled mightily with the systems it's put in place to encourage teams to hire black coaches. Are there certain steps you would like them to take going forward that can maybe create more equity from the top down?
We have to understand that real progress, we have to distinguish between progress and change. Real progress has come about only when African Americans have had transactional leverage and a seat at the table. To the extent that it has been generated by business concerns and those processes that are already integral to what brought us to the point that these became issues, then nothing will change. I think that we have not developed the transactional leverage to create in the coaching offices the same kinds of dynamics that we have in the locker room that have given us over 70% black players in the locker room owing to the demands of the game, in the same sense that we have the black quarterback because these owners got tired of having the highest paid player, the most significant player on the field, being in the tub, knocked out for the season, and so forth. So they had to have somebody with not just just pocket mobility, but athletic escapability. And that's when you get a Patrick Mahomes or Lamar Jackson. I mean, Patrick Mahomes not only has shown escapability, he's almost throwing balls around corners now. That is what gave us the black quarterback, and I don't see that happening with the black coaching situation. We're going to be in this situation with black coaches as long as the positions are racialized. In point of fact, coaching is going in exactly the opposite direction. There's a tendency now to hire young white coaches, and that does not portend well for blacks having access to that position.
Well, this has been a fascinating conversation. I hear you on all points. Hope you do enjoy the game tonight, and thank you very much. Harry Edwards, Professor Emeritus of Sociology at University of California, Berkeley.